I thought DeBoer was by far the best option. You guys know that. Greg Byrne ends up going out and hiring him. I think Alabama fans were a little skittish based on geography. Can he really come in here and recruit? The guy is 104-12. He's got multiple championships. His 2 years in the Power 5, 11-2, 14-1. I am just saying the one knock on Nick Saban, and nobody will ever be able to replicate what Nick Saban did. No. He is the greatest when you put one coach that could do everything from delegation to coaching to recruiting, everything. He is the best. All I am asking in game for those 60 minutes, is it possible that Kalen DeBoer is a better in-game coach?
So before people laugh at Lance on this, I used to hear opposing fan bases say this of Nick Saban. He's not the best X's and O's coach. He just beats you with his personnel and his preparation. I don't like. I'm not smart enough to look at that and say, here's where Saban's deficient in X's and O's. Alabama seemed pretty good when he was there. So I assumed he got most of the X's and O's right. But no, I mean, I heard opposing fan bases, primarily Auburn fans. Let's just say it for what it is.
I'm not going to try to argue with you that his strongest strength was recognizing talent, organizational. You heard Tom Luganville said yesterday, he put together in college a system to recognize and recruit talent that everyone else tries to duplicate. So his ability to watch tape, to hire people who could watch tape and pick out talent was by far his biggest strength. But the day he was hired, I remember exactly what I said about him. He's a recruiter and a developer, that when those kids got on campus, they got better and better and better. But I don't think we give him enough credit, and I think because he was a true head coach and let his coordinators call offensive plays and let Kirby call defensive plays, but I don't think we give him enough credit for an X's and O defensive scheme guy that he was in the NFL when he was with Bill Belichick. He became a head coach, and I think during the week he was a very, very good X's and O coach. Just on Saturdays, he sits back and he lets the coordinators, with his input, call the plays.
So I was watching.
I think it drops. Okay, drops that image of him being a great X's and O coach down because Kalen DeBoer still has the image he's calling plays.
So I'm watching him with Matt Eberflus last night, the head coach for Chicago, on Hard Knocks. I had not seen the first episode.
Yep.
And watching Saban talk, he's really fascinating. He is a CEO. And it's almost like he gets, and I guess you're supposed to get like this before you completely lose your mind when you get old, is you get more wisdom.
Yep.
But he seems sharper and sharper, and the things he says, it makes too much sense on so many levels. So this guy knows how to run a program better than anyone.
Yeah, his big fascination in life, other than military history books, was psychology.
Well, that's where I think he was the best. I think Barrett Jones has told us before that the highlight of his time at Alabama were the night before talks that Nick Saban would give to the team. He was like, they were always just so on point, so fascinating, and we would leave the meeting room just completely locked in. Like there was nothing that was going to divert our attention from the game. And that was the night before the game. I think he was a master psychologist. I personally... Yeah. He recruited well. I thought he did everything well, frankly, but I thought psychology was the best thing he ever did.
So have you guys seen the Hard Knocks?
I have not.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was on there.
I saw the first episode. That was part of it, where he's talking about.
I didn't realize that Eberflus played for him at Toledo and was number 90 and looks like it was almost a joke. He looked like Jared Lorenzen running around playing linebacker.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize the connection there. But watching him come in and talk about, and really the conversation started because of Caleb Williams and how you don't want to basically destroy the psyche of a young quarterback quickly, and there were reasons around that. But all I would say, and I said this from day one, you guys will give me Kalen DeBoer did not have the talent on the West Coast that he has now.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And so for him to be able to be in the situation he was with Washington, I think a lot of that is in-game coaching. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Saban. He is by far the best to ever do it. I'm just saying if you went from every asset, Saban altogether collectively gets an A+. But I'm just wondering if you go in-game to in-game, how close really is it?
Yeah, like Jim likes to say IROC, which was the racing series with equally prepared cars.
Old reference, but you take the best Indy drivers, NASCAR drivers, F1 drivers, put them in the same exact car, prepared by different people with the racing organization. They try to get all 9-10 cars exactly alike.
And they would race different style tracks. And the idea was we'll identify who is the actual best driver because nobody's got an equipment advantage. Nobody's got a track advantage. and it might be Earnhardt or it might be Emerson Fittipaldi or whoever, but that's the best driver. I don't know if you could go IROC of football teams, where crowd doesn't matter, rosters are equal, there are no injuries. Who would be the best coach of football? I don't think we have any idea of that.
But in the NFL or college, I think the NFL is closer to that. I think those teams are closer, almost identical.
It
but
depends on what quarterback is.
But they can't be identical. And I would always say this: why would you want that? Because if you're a college, why is it a knock that this guy's doing it with more talent or this guy's doing it with less
that's
talent?
Part of coaching.
Part
by
of
the
the
way.
job is most talent.
That's right. It's recruiting is a major part of coaching.
No, the whole reason I bring this up is, listening to Feinbaum this morning say the dynasty was even dead when Saban was there. Let's not forget it came down to a final play against a team that went 15-0.
No, in overtime.
So, I think Paul, obviously Paul is Paul, but he said it's definitely dead with DeBoer there. And my whole point is, watching DeBoer over these last couple of years at Washington and what he's doing recruiting-wise, I just don't really see a major fall-off.
Yeah.
At all.